Thank you so much, Gona. Now in studio we do have Dr. Mwinga Chokwe. He is a psychiatrist. He's been here before, so tunasema ukijava the second time you're no longer a guest, you remember. Karibu sana, Dr. Mwinga.
Shukran.
Good to have you here. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. How are you?
Well, I'm good.
Thank you.
Now we want to talk about discipline in children. I have a daughter, and she's 9. And Saizi, I feel like every single time we have a lot of bit of conflict here and there. At times I say certain things, nashanga kama amenisikiza, and I have to repeat myself. I think I'll repeat it around 5 times. Now, there are times I also lose my temper. Na I land on the next sleeper next to me. You pati niko kanda yangu. Taichukua, and that's the thing, you know? And there are times I lose my cool and I raise my voice, you know? Because I want you to do exactly what I want you to do. So my daughter is equally vocal as well. So there's something. So kuna ile time when we are calm.
Yep.
And I do an exercise with her where I say, what made you happy? Or what made you sad? So utapata mesema, I don't like it when mommy does this. So she'll hint out to the fact that there was a time I carried my sleeper and nikamchapa.
Correct.
I would like us to talk about how to discipline kids as parents. What is the best way to bring up a child?
Well, thank you very much for inviting me
You're welcome.
this year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Well, I wanted to start with a little bit behind.
Yes.
I wanted to quote you a piece of scripture,
Okay.
which is Proverbs 22, verse 6. That scripture is a great scripture because it says, train a child in the way he will live. And even when he grows up, that child will not depart from that way. If you look at developed countries, people like Japanese, Chinese, even others, they focus a lot on children. They train children. Children don't just grow. Us, because of various challenges, because maybe you are busy making ends meet, you have to look for money, whatever, the child just grows, okay? And then suddenly you come and find out the child has actually grown and has developed a mind of his own or her own. And more so, they develop the minds of their peers.
Yeah.
Because the peers are closer to them. The parent, the original parent, like you now, you're supposed to be at home, taking care of that child, bringing her up. That's how we were brought up in those days, because the mothers were housewives. Now you become professionals, so they have to be brought up by somebody else. To make it worse, now they're even being brought up by technology. So, since there is access to technology, access to other people, they internalize those new trainings which they have, which they see. Sometimes I look at these opera, these shows. If you look at these shows, and you wonder, that is the family. They are showing the children those things,
Yeah.
the quarrels they have there. The children will pick them up. At that level, their mind, a child is, he's not abstract. Abstract behavior comes much later, maybe around 10, 14, 15 years, where you can analyze things. But earlier on, you are looking at things, and whatever you hear is the truth, is the gospel truth. So I think I wanted to start there, that we need to learn somehow, because I know you cannot stop going to work and so on. So you have to create more time. for that child, especially when you go home. You have to bring this child with the proper training, actual training, respect, and it has to come up slowly. Now, your reaction to his or her reaction is because you yourself, you have your own challenges. Because if you look back at yourself, maybe you didn't have that type of, conducive environment. I'm not saying it's a bad environment, but you didn't have that opportunity to be listened to discuss things. You take orders. As we grow, we need to learn to listen to these children, to talk to them, to understand them, and also to direct them to areas that are safe areas, and remove them from unsafe areas. And I'm talking about peers, I'm talking about technology.
Yeah. You've talked about training a child, the way he or she lives. How do we train them? What are some of the values that we can instill in them?
When you're, again, with this development which you have had, which we love, okay? One of the side effects of this modern development is loss of values, social values, values of where you come from. You see, for example, there used to be a school in Naivasha called the Naivasha Boarding. I don't know whether they still do it. But in Naivasha Boarding, they trained their children to respect, total respect to adults, anybody who is above your age. So if you passed and you found that child playing, they would stand up. Automatically. If they entered the bus and there's somebody standing and they are sitting, they would give you. They internalize at certain training of discipline, which is possible. Now you go to some schools, they even kick you. They hit you, they are running all around. They have no respect. You cannot blame them. They have not been trained.
Yeah.
So you need to take time and train. Training is a situation where you have a curriculum.
Yeah.
You say this is how things are supposed to go. This is how you treat visitors. Okay. Sometimes you go to a place and then you are a visitor. And this kid comes climbing over you, taking your soda, and then the mother say, you, what are you doing? Just like that, So that child is not disciplined. He's not trained. You cannot. Okay. You go huyo mtoto, where, Okay, there are some mental conditions.
Yeah.
Rarely. There are some mental conditions where the child is hyperactive. This is what we call attention deficit syndrome. That one you cannot blame because they are even not trainable. A child is hyperactive. He goes to any room, he'll climb tables and all that. We should be able to differentiate. Is this a sickness or it is just discipline? Mostly it's discipline which we need to address. And the mothers, because the mother is the one who is really in charge. They are the ones who perpetuate that by making a joke. So you're all joking, and then at the end of the day, that child loses in discipline. Yeah.
Okay, kuna hii tabia hii ya ambayo mostly iko na kina mama Miriam specifically na huyo mwingine yuko upande wa pili pia yasikiza kwamba mtoto anakosea, anafanya vitu ambavyo kwamba havieleweki. So badala ya yeye aima kumwadhibu ama kumkanya, huu msemo wa kwamba babako akija nitamwambia.
Correct.
Babako akija nitamwambia.
Correct.
By the time huyo baba yakanyaga kwa mlango, kuna nyamaza
It's unfortunate. Remember,
Yes.
I'm now 72 years. Yeah. You guys, you are half my age. All right? But in my days,
Yes.
you are disciplined by not your father, your mother, by your neighbor.
True.
Yeah. You are disciplined in the village.
Yeah.
Before you reach home, you have already been disciplined. And if you are reported at home, you get more discipline.
Again.
Yeah.
Now, with the liberalization and the freedom,
Na hotline.
social freedoms, you cannot look even at the schools. There's the problem in schools because why? Government says you cannot cane a child. You cannot discipline.
Yes.
You see? So what do you expect of that kid? That kid takes over. And he knows nobody can touch me. And they can scream, they can do what. And it's something we are carrying forward. So it's not just the issue of your father. Now you cannot discipline a neighbor's child. It will take you to court. You see? But we need to rethink. We need to rethink about discipline because it's important. The Bible, I read the Bible a lot, is very clear about sparing a road. You spare that road, and that child will be out of control. Sisi tulichapwa, sijui kama nyinyi mmechapwa.
Mi nilipigwa. Uko sio kuchapa, nilipigwa.
Na unachapwa shule, unachapwa nyumbani, unachapwa. And if you look now, this group, they are disciplined in one way or another. Look at the new group now. You can't touch them. Yeah. They're out of control. They are the ones who can't even give you room. You can enter matatu, they don't care, they don't give a damn. You know, they talk anything, they say anything, they dress in any way. There's no discipline.
Is it because
it's a national problem?
Yeah. When you talk about discipline, kuna hiyo kuchapwa. Is it because nowadays we are adapting to instead of caning, all right? It's said you need to talk to them.
It's kind of a
you need to talk to them instead of caning.
By the way, my own children, my last born is now about 39. My last born. Sijamchapa hata siku moja. Kuchapa hivi kuchapa. Because also kuchapa means there is some failure somehow. Because how did it come to the point that you need to chapa that child? But where necessary, it is indicated. So it's really a question. We normally talk of you should be able to kind of what we call tokenism, give tokens to children in order to improve their compliance, their behavior. So they know if they behave well, they probably get a sweet, probably they get a book, probably they'll be able to go out. And the same thing happens even in school. So that you are not using the stick, but where necessary then, because there are some children who have what we call conduct disorders. You can have a child with a mental disorder, which it presents like a conduct problem. You can have a child with a conduct, tabia tu, mbaya, truant. Child, this is a child who goes to school. He says he's going to school, he takes his books, but hata ingia shule. Atacheza, ikifika wakati wa kurudi nyumbani, achukua vitabu anarudi. So you have to differentiate. Is this person has it got a mental disability, or is it just conduct which we can address?
Okay.
Yeah.
You talked about tokenism, so that means we develop a habit of rewarding good behavior.
Rewarding, and that happens even in adults.
Okay.
Yeah. You know that your boss, you know, si mnajua. Sengine mnaongezwa kwa mshahara, mnapatiwa ka bonus because you've been reliable, whatever. It improves your performance.
Yes.
Without him coming to beat you up so that you can. So tokenism is very good, especially in children. And they learn. And it must be something tangible, something they can know. They can know if I behave like this, I'm not going to get this. So withdrawing that tokenism, it becomes a punishment.
Okay.
So they want to do it so that you don't withdraw.
So consistently.
Yeah.
But what happens in because Doc, I have a habit where now to just teach her how to that she needs to clean and tidy up, get involved in the chores, right? So for her, it's more
I think your problem is not now; it's an old problem.
Is it?
It's how you brought up. You have just discovered now that there's an issue.
Tokenism unasema.
Yeah.
It's been there where you do this and then there's a bit of reward. So now...
No, you agree. You can even have a contract. It's a contract. If you behave in such and such a way, it doesn't even have to be immediate. It can be at the weekend. I will allow you to do X, Y, Z. Okay. Because you can do every time. But the child knows there is a kind of relationship. And she'll be wanting or he'll be wanting to please you. But you see, akidiscover you are too concerned with other things, other people, especially other guests. Wakija unawashughulikia, you really care. Lakini them, you don't care. Sasa, he may develop a behavior which is supposed to draw attention
to her.
Naona kama huna attention, and this is happening unconsciously.
Yeah.
Haketi chini akadecide. It just happens. You see that, and when they do that, then obviously you pay attention to them. So they know if they do this, you are going to attend to them. So it's a question of, it's never too late to learn. So don't give up. But
hata sina choice.
Daktari, kuna cases
don't give up, because don't say I've said it. No, you can modify. You must have what we call modification of behavior.
Okay.
Daktari, kuna hizi cases zenye nimekuwa nikiona wazazi kuna ile kuonyesha love and support na hapa kwa discipline. Naona kama kuna ka thin line pale. Mtu anaona am I supposed to show love ama to discipline? Yani kuna ka challenge. How do we balance that?
Wacha niseme mtoto anapokuwa, for example, a lady, a girl, akiwa mdogo, anakuwa very attached to the girl is attached to who?
The father.
To the dad. Father. Yeah.
Okay. And the boy is attached to the mother. Before puberty. Akiwa puberty, it's supposed to revert, so that the boy now should become close to the father. To the extent that I normally tell my clients, this child now should stop being, he should be your friend. You should be friends, so that this child can even tell you secrets. Somebody is doing something to them, whatever. But they will not do that unless you are close. Same thing, the girl has to come back and become friends with the mother. But you see, mothers still keep on seeing this as children. Yeah. I want a time now, they don't discuss deep things. Like, you create a relationship, you create a friendship. Let that child be your, na confidence na wewe. Wanaweza kushare bila wewe kumwadhibu. So it's really, it's a process. And it's both psychological and also sociological, how people, and also depending on the environment where you are, your circumstances, who you are, whether you're a professional, whether you have. But when you have these limitations, then you have to create your own time. You must know now, I need to create time. You don't live like you are okay. Sijui kama tuelewana. Fanya kazi hapa, lakini mwambie sikiza, I have to rush home. I have a very important duty to do. And that duty is to just be with that child.
Yeah.
Attend to and then this child will also not want to harm you. Atataka kukukasirisha. So those are things you learn. Now, I when I started, I mentioned the Japanese and all that. If you look at the internet now, you see little children in China and Japan, they are trained like adults. They are into technology. They're into, I don't know if you have seen.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Whereas our children are outside playing with the mud and all that. Those children, once you train somebody professionally, then they also become disciplined. If children also enter things like sports, look at those children who are into sports, proper sports. Somehow they become disciplined, because you cannot do sports, you cannot succeed if you're not disciplined. You cannot succeed if you are taking drugs, alcohol, and whatever. So there are some aspects which other people have taken and we are yet to take. But even in Kenya, some parts of Kenya, like Rift Valley, they have taken sports very seriously. Now, that sporting has a lot of advantages, including discipline, because you cannot succeed without discipline. You have to know when to train, what to eat, what not to eat, what to say, what not to say. Lakini sasa utakuta watoto wetu hawana hiyo kitu. Sasa unakuwa tu, you are just there in the village and you're in the town, and you get into drugs and all those things. So we need to consciously now take care of this child, the environment ya yule mtoto, kama ni shule, kama ni nyumbani, tumfanye awe active. Let their mind be active. Engage them. When they are busy, and then you come in the evening and say, have you done A, B, C, D? They'll be wanting to achieve certain things. They're not just playing around. So you develop discipline, and those children are highly disciplined, and we need to go that way. Yeah. I don't know whether that makes sense, but
yeah, because you're saying it also now begins. It begins with the individual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Kuna hiki kitu. Kuna mtoto wangu mimi mmoja alikuwa yongea na mamake, alafu akamwambia akaambia sijui nini, akasema I have my rights. Ili swala la my rights na hotlines za kwamba ziko, kipiga we mzazi pia kidogo, hali yako unaweza ukajipata
kabisa.
Ukajipata mahali ambapo huko kusudia,
mahali pabaya.
And
they know it.
So hiyo nayo pia
so I think what we need as a country is to know things have changed. Now that things have changed, what do we do? How can we address them? Before we used to address in the community meetings, hakuna. Now we have what you are doing now. Like what you are doing now is an attempt to address that issue. So we need to create now new channels of communication to the new parent, because the new parent needs also parenting. He's too young.
That is true.
He's young but rich. He has money, he has everything. What he doesn't have the experience.
Yes.
So we need now, I think, we create a platform like you are doing. People start talking, because as we talk, we get solutions. We share those, because the government also needs to come in, because you cannot just sit there and tell parents you cannot touch your child. You cannot. These children also pick it up.
Yeah.
And they use it against you.
Yeah.
But like as I said, if you have developed other methods of rewarding those children, even in school, they automatically create a better behavior, respect. Because one of the greatest things you have in East Asia is respect. Those people are respectful. Whether once you meet an elder, even if you are a leader, you can see how you greet them. They bow. They respect, this ya tuna hiyo ilikuwako, lakini sasa
imeisha.
Sasa hakuna.
Hapa pwani iliondoka kabisa.
Na hapa pwani ndipo tulikuwa tumewachwa na respect ile kali. Lakini pia kwa village, I stay in the village, I'll take you to my village one day. Kuna ma respect huko, shikamoo nyingi sana utapewa. Babu nini, lakini ukija town sasa bala. So we need to reinvent, because going forward, things are going to get worse.
Dr. Mwinga, I see some parents say that growing up, I never had. I lacked, I didn't have some sort of entertainment, or I didn't have. So when I grew up and I have a child, I want to spoil my child, expose my child to the things that I wished I had then.
Correct.
Yeah. Is that, how do we bridge that where it's now I'm allowing the child to get away with a lot of things because I don't want them to seem like they're lacking?
Yeah, that is very dangerous, and that's what I'm saying. We need a platform for discussions, honestly, because it can be in radio, TV, social halls. Let's now talk about parenting. Let's talk about children, our children. How are they behave? What should we do? If you overcompensate because you had problems yourself, then again you are not helping them. And remember, you must prepare a child to go and live a difficult world, because your home may be very comfortable. You may have everything. Like once that child leaves your house, anapata shida because amezoea raha, because you didn't train that child that these are your things, si zake. Wengine ni either waende jobless, wame degree lakini hawana kazi, wengine wameolewa. Na kula naolewa kuna shida ambazo kule nyumbani kulikuwa kuna. So it's a question of preparing our children to face reality. The royal family, what they do, they even take their children for some time. They can be taken to war. They can be taken to go and do community work. They get down. They are still royal, but for a period they go and engage in difficult situations. Lakini sisi una protect mtoto, utaki afanye social work, utaki afanye nini, unamtendekeza, una nini. That child will grow like that. So once you connect with the real world, it develops your character. So you need to know it's your life, and your life is different from the life of your children. So simdanganya kuwa itakuwa hivyo. Yeah, and don't overcompensate. Don't just give things, because you will not get those things outside there. In fact, anaweza kwenda kusota sana huko. My dad used to have nini, kuna bata, kuna wati, kuna wifi. Huko hakuna. Na wewe ulimuonyesha hivyo. So we just need to let our children understand the world, connect, respect elders. Okay, that respect of elders, which is very rare nowadays. And that way you build their character.
All right.
And even when they become now leaders, elected leaders, if they had the problems, even in leadership, utaona hizo shida wanatuletea. Na hizo characters ni mtu ni kiongozi, lakini yale maneno anatamka pale inakuonyesha kuna shida huko nyuma alipata. Hana heshima, hana adabu.
We see it a lot.
I don't want to mention names, but
ziko twaziona.
Ziko, you can see.
Yeah.
And the other thing I should mention is that the children learn from not just talking, they observe. What you do, what you love, how you respond to things. That's what they learn. So, as an adult, kama una matusi, that child will pick it up. Don't make no mistake, because you are the adult, and anakuangalia wewe na una behave as if nobody is bothering. Those children are bothering. They are looking at you. They are listening to you. If you are a figurehead, you are a leader, you can't just do things like that. No, they are impacting on that generation. Then you go and tell that generation to wawe na adabu. Hiyo adabu watatoa wapi? Na wewe mwenyewe una adabu.
Yes.
I think you see what
I see that. I see that. Like kids imitate us.
Yes, completely. That's how they learn.
All right. Thank you so much.
Your lecture may not work, but your activity
will
impact.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been good having you. We've been talking to Dr. Mwinga Chokwe. He is a psychiatrist. Of course, we'll have him back again on a different conversation. But right now, from us to you on the Breakfast Club, tunasema bye.
Acha tuseme bye.
Tutaonana kesho tena. Yes.
Panapo majaliwa.
Majaliwa? Panapo majaliwa.
Panapo majaliwa. Yake Rahman.
Aya basi.
Tunasema inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right.